The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Chugiak, Alaska, on your new apparatus, job number 30293. Please utilize this job number when referencing your vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's go ahead and start down at the front bumper area. Just under the front bumper, you'll find two attachment points. These are closed tow hooks. Moving up just under the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Located on the bumper face, you'll find your headlight cluster, low beams on the outside, high beam on the inside. Moving up from that location, you'll find a tub storage location for your front bumper load. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find a mechanical siren. Up onto the body on the outer edges, you'll find your running turn indicators. Moving just inside in the cluster, you'll find a turn arrow on the right and left. Just inside in that same cluster, you'll find an emergency warning light. And moving up onto the top of the body above the cluster of the emergency and turn indicator, you'll find an emergency warning light. Just inside, you'll find a spinning warning light. Up onto the top of the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers on your seamless windshield. On the outer edge, you'll find 2 mirrors. You have a flat portion and a convex portion. Up on the top of the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your running lights. You have 2 forward-facing floodlights. Located directly in the center, you have a tank level indicator. Up onto the top, you'll find your emergency warning lights. Located in the center, you'll find your Opticom. Here are some close-ups of those areas that we just talked about. This is the top of the apparatus. Let's look now down at the front spinning light. We'll take a look at the emergency warning light cluster. As you can see, on each side of the front bumper, there are side-facing warning lights. Located in the front, you can see your low and high beam headlights. And underneath, you'll see your 2 air horns in addition with tow hooks. Here's a close-up of the tow hooks from underneath. In addition with, you can see the drain associated with the front bumper line. Generalized view here of the top section of your front bumper where the tubbed storage location is. Once that's opened inside via the 2 latches on the very top, you'll find tray storage area for a hose load, in addition with a 1.5-inch discharge on the passenger side. Generalized view here of the driver's side of your vehicle. Let's break down some of the components here. You have side-facing floodlights at the very top of the apparatus. On the side of the apparatus, in addition within the front, this is your tank indicator for water level. As we mentioned earlier, this is that left turn indicator. Just up from that, you can see that you have a bullet-style rear-facing camera. Looking down in the step well, you have a step light. Just beneath that step light, you'll find your auto eject air chuck. As we move up onto the top, you'll find on the door latches, all door latches are keyed. In addition with your shore power inlet, auto eject plug. Just on the back half of the apparatus near the rear door, you'll find a side-facing warning light. Generalized view here of the face of the mirror. Let's go ahead and talk about the internal part here. You can see at the very top, flat, the bottom section convexed, all controlled from within inside the cab.
Underneath all points of entry, you'll find LED lighting as your perimeter light. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and move to the pump area of your apparatus, and we'll talk about some of the components there. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, you can see a 2.5-inch discharge port. Just beneath that, an additional 2.5-inch discharge port. Moving up from that location, you'll find this warning label regarding the hazards associated with charged or under pressure caps that could be hazardous when opened. In the center, you'll find behind the Pierce logo your large diameter intake. Up in the very top, this is your foam intake and drain. You'll also find additional warning labels located in this area regarding riding on apparatus and the hazards associated. Down at the very bottom, you'll find this style of drains for all of your discharges. And located in the center, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Moving up to the top, this is your CAFS relief. Moving down just beneath that, you'll find your CAFS outlet. Moving further down on the pump panel, lower right corner, you'll find two drains. These are twist style, not pull style. Let's go ahead and take a look at the step area. To increase the size, go ahead and pull it toward yourself. Moving just underneath the pump panel area, your pump panel is fully enclosed. There are latches to go ahead and reveal underneath this area. Simply release the latch and pull the handle. Let's go ahead and move up onto the top near the pump panel. You'll find an additional work light pointed toward the pump panel area. And as we look just above the pump panel, you'll find this roll-up door. In this door houses your 3 crosslays in additional storage just above. Let's talk about those crosslays now. At the very top, you can see additional storage location or hose storage or tool storage. As we move further down, you'll find your 3 pull-out style quick loads. First, the 2.5-inch crosslay, a 1.5-inch crosslay, and an additional 1.5-inch crosslay. To gain access to those, simply depress the lever, allows you to pull those crosslays in the outward position. Just above that, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Also in the rear, you'll find additional floodlights and warning lights. Let's go ahead and take a look under the front set of tires. You'll find you have folding wheel chocks. To the rear, you'll find an additional folding wheel chock, and you'll also find a winch attachment point. This is your standard 2x2 winch attachment point. In addition to the winch attachment point, just to the right, you'll find your rear inlet air bleed. Also located in this area, you'll find your 12-volt access for powering the winch. Let's go ahead and move just to the forward location. Behind this access door, you'll find SCBA storage for 2 bottles, in addition with the blue cap for your DEF fill location. Just over the rear tire, you'll find an emergency warning light. And in this access door, you'll find additional bottle storage and also your fill location for your diesel. That is a silver cap on that, indicating for your diesel. And the very top, you have your 2 bottle storage locations. Let's take a look into each of these compartments, but let's first start from underneath the apparatus. You can see once again the rest of the enclosure of your fully enclosed pump area. Let's go ahead and start at the very top of the pump panel. This is that compartment with the roll-up door in the open position. This light here indicates that your pump has been engaged properly. If illuminated, you are properly engaged. Let's start over on the left-hand side. Starting first, you have a front discharge. It has water and foam capabilities. Next over is a 2.5-inch crosslay. Next over from that is your number 1 crosslay. All 3 of these so far have foam and water, in addition with your number 2 crosslay. Just above that, you'll find your pump overheat, which is an amber indicating light. Down from that, once again, the white number 2 crosslay. All of these have the capability of foam and water. Just underneath that, you'll find your PCM fault, which is a yellow indicator. Moving to the right, you'll find an audible alarm speaker. Moving further to the right in the gray area, you'll find your master intake. Moving further to the right, almost to the very edge, you'll find your master discharge. And just beneath that, you'll find your test gauge ports. They currently are plugged. This is for vacuum and pressure testing. Let's move down onto the pump panel. You'll find all of these valves here all have locking capability. clearly identified. The first one on the left is your front discharge, CAFs capable. Next one over is your 2.5 inch crosslay, CAFs capable. Once again, number 1 crosslay. These are those crosslays in the upper portion. And number 2, all of these have the ability to have foam CAFs. Moving all the way to the right, you'll find your driver rear discharge. And all the way further to the right, you'll find your passenger rear discharge. There are 2 additional discharges in the very rear of the apparatus, and we'll cover some of those. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the contents here in your Pierce throttle control governor. Let's look down at the cross underneath all of your valves. You'll find the activation switch for your CAFs system, individually labeled. They also are color-coded. Let's go ahead and move to the far right. This is going to be your hydraulic oil temperature sensor. This is automatic. It has an amber and a red and indications as to what they are. Just underneath you have an autofill for your pump. Moving up to the top, you can see this is your recirculating line. This is a twist style. Moving over to the right, your foam A tank. This is the indicator as to how much foam is in the tank. And in the blue area here, this is your Hercules CAFs system. Moving all the way to the right in the red area, this is your Pierce foam system. And moving all the way to the far right, this is your Deluge discharge. Let's move all the way back over to the left-hand side. This is going to be your tank fill. Moving over once again to the right, you'll find this panel gauge heater. It is automatic, and you can see the information here illuminated in red if it is in the on position. Just beneath the foam A tank, you'll find your CAFs warning label. Moving all the way down, you'll find your fire pump for the primer. And just underneath that, you'll find an additional label here regarding that you should at least have 1,000 RPMs when utilizing the fire pump primer. To the right-hand side, you'll find the number 2 auto discharge. This is going to be an automatic valve. And then all the way to the right, your large diameter auto valve. Moving over to the left, you have a direct fill for your tank. And you also have a autofill active when the light is in the on position. Just beneath that, you can see that you have your closed or open rear inlet. Moving to the right, you have the primer for the rear intake. And moving over to the right, once again, these are turn, not pull style. These are your flush and also your manifold drain. We'll go ahead and take a look in the next set of images what's behind this access door for your Husky 12 foam system. And at the very bottom, all the way across, you can find each of these individually labeled, also color-coded. These are all the drains associated with each one of the discharges. On the upper left-hand corner, you'll find your TFT monitoring station. This is for your master stream on the very top. Moving down beneath that, you'll find a set of switches. First is your air horn. The next one down is your pump compartment heater. And then you have a significant amount of future switch locations if you choose or need. Let's go ahead and start in the upper right with some pointers here. This is your Pierce control. This is the check engine light. There's also a stop engine light, will indicate in red. As we move further down, you'll find your water tank level. As you move down, you can select either control mode here of pressure control or RPM throttle control. Directly in the center, you'll find the throttle ready, which will indicate in green. I would recommend checking your owner's manual regarding the use of this product. Here's a close-up of your compressor for the CAFs system. Moving over, close-up once again of the Pierce foam system. This is your primer for the main fire pump. As you can see below, for enhanced priming performance, run that engine at least 1,000 RPMs. Just beneath that, this is the rear primer. And we'll talk next what's in this access door here for your Husky foam system. Looking down at the very bottom, this yellow handle, we'll leave this handle in the horizontal for foam operations. To fill, go ahead and move that to the vertical position. After filling, restore it back to its original horizontal. This is your pump manual shift override with a yellow indicator and a protective switch. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the contents within these compartments. First, as you can see in this compartment, you have a variety of different items. First, in the upper left-hand corner, this is your generator information center. Just beneath that, you'll find the plug for your night scan. It is portable. Here's a close-up of that Harrison hydro generator with digital readout. This is going to be your night scan. This is the control for it. It is attached just beneath that generator point. This is your electrical outlets. And at the very top, you also have shore power outlets here that are also generator capable. On this is your 200-foot 20-amp electrical cord reel. This is the button for rewinding. Behind this access door, you'll find a breaker box. That breaker box is for your S1 shore power. As you can see in the very back, there's some information here on placards regarding S1 and G1, the S for shore, G for generated. Looking in this section here, you'll find at the very bottom a pull-out style shelf. To access that shelf, depress the lever and pull out, which will allow the shelf to fully extend outright. To return, push that same latch and you'll restore it back to its original position. You also have a remote control located in this compartment for your TFT system. Generalized view, you can see the very top shelf is a pull-out which also slants downward for easy access of tools. To do that, simply pull on the cable, which will allow the release of the two mechanisms, and pull the shelf to the outright position. You also have some drawers located here. There are 3 located in this position. To access that, just simply pull the drawer itself. There is a latch and mechanism within the silver portion of the handle located here. Let's go ahead and take a look in this compartment here. This is once again a roll-up door. As we look inside, you can see that there is an adjustable pull-out style or swing-out style tool board. To access that tool board, simply release the right-hand latch. It will lock in a locking position. Behind that tool board, there is an additional swinging tool board. They are adjustable from front to rear, depending on the size of your tools. And also on the very back, you can see there's a pegboard style tool board, which can also allow you to hang tools in that location. This is the release. Once that release is lifted, the tool board will then restore back to its original position. We'll now go ahead and take a look into the very rear compartment roll-up door. As we access this door, you'll find at the very top and about the midsection, you have 2 additional pull-out style tilt-down shelving. Same mechanism here. Pull the cable, allows the release of the 2 black latches on each side, allowing that to pull in its downward position for easy access into this shelf. Same with the lower shelf. The very bottom shelf is a rollout style. The latch is located on the very far right-hand side of the rollers. Depress the black latch will allow the shelf to be pulled to its outward position. To restore it, same mechanism to restore. Let's go ahead and talk about the rear of the apparatus as we move through this. Let's start in the lower cluster. You have your lower section here. You have your backup, turn, brake, and an emergency light. We'll talk a little bit about the ladder on your apparatus, the rear-facing lights, in addition with, at the very top, this smaller compartment here, which accesses tools. We'll also talk about your traffic advisor. Just down from that traffic advisor, you'll find your backup or reverse camera. Further down from that location, you have an additional tank indicator. And at the very top, you have a backup or stop brake light. Moving down at the very bottom, this is your rear intake and the access door associated with that rear intake. You also find 2 grab handles and also your ladder rack controls. Let's go ahead and break down just underneath the vehicle. Once again, perimeter lighting. Looking over at the side, this is going to be an area that you should not cap. This is the rear intake relief valve. As we look at the very top, you can see that you have step lights in addition with grab handles. Once again, starting down at the very bottom, you've got a variety of different clusters here, but the main importance here is your brake and also your turn. Let's take a look at this compartment here. When this access door is open, you can see you have a variety of different things. One, your Newark hook, 8-foot pike pole, 10-foot pike pole, and also a 10-foot folding ladder. There is also in this compartment currently your foam drafting hose. Take a look at the close-up here, some of the lights here, as you can see at the very bottom, backup camera. Moving up from that, you can see that you have your traffic advisor. I would like to point out that there is possible entanglement with those hoses coming off, and so there is a warning label regarding that. Here's a close-up of your tank light, red, orange, green, and blue, indicating those levels. As we look to the right, you'll find your powered equipment rack. This is the on-off switch and also the adjustment for up and down. Close-up here of the rear inlet. We'll talk a little bit about what's behind this access door next as we reveal what's inside. This is going to be your relief valve for your rear inlet. Up in the left side, inside the actual hose storage area, this is the driver's rear discharge. Looking down at the base or at the very front of the apparatus, you can see the discharge down at the lower portion. There is also a passenger rear discharge. This has the capability of foam and water. As we look further into that toward the bulkhead, you'll find this discharge port. Let's talk a little bit about the ladder and the controls. Be cautious of the pinch hazards. To access the ladder, pull it away from the apparatus first by depressing the 2 right and left latches. This will allow the ladder to fully extend outward away from the vehicle. Once that has been complete, there is a latch down in the lower section which will allow the ladder to fully extend to ground level for access. This is that lever on the right. Once you've gained access to the top, you'll find you have a grab handle in addition with some work lights up at the very top. Your vehicle is also outfitted with perimeter reflective tape. You also have 2 latch on your hose bed, which is fully covered. Up in the very top, you can see your 2 work lights in this location. Moving forward of that location, you'll find your tank, or on the left here, your CAF system. Moving up from that, you'll find your tank A, which is your Class A foam. It is a latched compartment. Moving to the right, you'll find your top fill for your water tank. Moving up from that, you can see the protective cover around your exhaust. And moving all the way to the very front, you'll find your deluge or master stream device. This is also location of your ladder storage. We'll talk about those next. This is your generator. Once again, perimeter tape on the outside for safety. Just at the very top of the cab, you'll find your night scan. This is the location where it is stored. The control, once again, down in the driver's side compartment. Quick look at the side of your apparatus. We'll talk about some of the components within this area. First, let's start down at the lower section in the rear. You have a side-mounted winch location in addition with 12-access power. This is the cover for that 12-access power location. Moving to the right, this is your 2x2 standard receiver. Next, we'll talk about the compartments that encompass the area around the wheel well. Similar to the other side, this is bottle storage locations. Located in the very center, you'll find an emergency warning light side facing. Let's go ahead and open those compartments here. Let's take a look first in the compartment located behind this access door. Once it's revealed, you'll find 3 locations for bottle storage, in addition with straps for security. As we move to the back section, you'll find an additional access door. This is once again same layout as the opposite side, 3 bottles with straps for security. Moving up to the very top of the apparatus, you'll find a side-facing flood in addition with a warning light. Let's go ahead and take a look at this rear compartment here with E31 located on it. When this door is rolled up, we'll find 2 shelves that are the pull-out, pull-down style. Same method of opening those with the cable and also the release mechanism. This here reveals the top shelf in the pulled out and tilted down location. Next, we have an image of the next shelf down, pulled out storage location here for access of equipment. Looking down at the very bottom, this is a pull-out style shelf. You can see on the very right-hand side, once again, similar to the other shelves, it has the mechanism for releasing that shelf to be pulled in its outright position. Once again, restore, push that, and restore that back to its original position. Here's an image of it in outright position. Let's go ahead and move forward on the vehicle, and let's take a look inside this compartment door. Slightly different layout than the opposite side. This is a door that once rolled up has the shelves inside, which are also that cable style pull out, which will tilt down just as the others did. From here, we'll move forward to the next roll-up compartment. As you can see in this compartment, there are 2 vertical toolboard mounts in addition with a shelf or cubby just at the very bottom. Same mechanism for accessing these. To press the black lever, which will allow this to pull its outright position and open. You can see there is storage locations on both the inside and outside of this compartment, and also just next to it there is also additional storage locations. If you choose not to use the board or you're going to make adjustments, there is a pin on the right to be able to pull that board out and work on that for mounting of your tools. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next compartment, slightly larger compartment here in this roll-up door. As we reveal what's behind this door, you can find your hydraulic tools here. These are all e-tools, electronic. The upper drawer here has slightly above it, has some power outlets here. This is shore and generator outlet, 15 amp. Just down from that location, you'll find once again same style compartment that the drawer pulls outward with that cable in the very front. Located down beneath, you can see how easy it is to access those tools when they're in the tipped outward position. Let's go ahead and move up to this roll-up compartment door. This is your cross-lay compartment, exact same configuration as the other side. This is a through compartment. Once that door is open, this will reveal cross-lay 1, cross-lay 2, in addition with that 2.5. Same mechanism. I would like to point out that this is a possible entanglement hazard, so be cautious. That's why there's a warning label there. As we look to the very base of this compartment, you'll find once again the number 2 cross-lay in white, the number 1 cross-lay in yellow, and then also in the gray you'll find your 2.5 inch cross-lay. There's also that warning label here for entanglement, and also the lever here to access those speed loads. Let's go ahead and move down to the pump panel, talk a little bit about some warning labels and writing on the side of the apparatus. Not a good idea, warning labels for that. This is also the location of your water strainer. As you can see, as we move across the top in the very center, this is your large diameter intake on the passenger side. Moving further to the right, once again, a warning label regarding pressurized caps and the hazards associated. Moving down, you'll find in orange, this is going to be a large diameter discharge. Moving to the right side, you'll find a orange also access hole. That is for your override because of the electric valve. To the left-hand side, you find your cab tilt. You'll also find down at the lower section the 2.5 auxiliary inlet. Moving to the right, large diameter discharge, and you can see once again electric valve requires that you have an override. That is this location, which requires a tool. All the way down to the very bottom, you'll find on the very left-hand side additional drain. Once again, turn, not pull. And to the right, you'll find all the associated drains clearly labeled. On the upper left-hand side of the pump panel, you'll find those warning labels in addition with your cab lift. This is the activate, raise, and lower, which is a protected switch. Moving down to the very bottom, same step as the other side. To gain more space here, just flip this outward and you'll increase the size of your step. Let's go ahead and look now directly under this area, and you'll find once again some additional drains and also your enclosed pump area. Also in the upper corner here, you can see a non-capped. This is going to be a relief valve. There's also LED lighting just underneath, and you can see your entire enclosed pump panel. Let's go ahead and take a look at the passenger side of your vehicle. Let's start in the upper corner. First, you'll find your tank indicator, currently indicating in red, empty. As we move down from that location, you'll find an emergency side-facing warning light. As we move to the very top, this is that side-facing floodlight on the passenger side. You also have a bullet-style reverse or side camera. Located once again under the step, you'll find perimeter lighting in addition with step well. This is the front step. Moving inside, you can see once again perimeter lighting. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and move all the way around over to the operator side, and we'll talk about some of the components with inside the cab. Let's first start on the door itself. You'll find additional warning labels and recommendations for use of seatbelts. Also located at the foot level, you'll find a warning label regarding the diesel exhaust and its hazards. You'll also find the use of your service manual prior to doing any maintenance. And you'll also find this yellow label indicating the date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight ratings, tire and rim size, cold inflation, VIN number, which is also located on the A pillar of the driver's side, and all of your fluid capacities and types. Let's go ahead and start down. As you make entry into the vehicle, you'll find your auto charger. This is when you're plugged into shore power. Looking forward at the foot pedals here, and as we look to the left-hand side, you'll find this foot pedal, which is your mechanical siren. Let's go ahead and move up about knee height on the left side, the quarter turn in silver battery switch. Moving to the right, you'll find a black and also a green. These are diagnostic ports for service. As we move further down, you'll find a set of rocker switches. First is your ABS diagnostics. Moving over, this is going to be your DPF regen. Moving next over, this is your engine diagnostic. This is not a switch, this is an indicator light. And moving all the way to the farthest right in green here, you'll find your regen. Also to the right, you'll find your display port. This is once again for service. Let's go ahead and move up to the set of rocker switches above that. You'll find your stationary OK to pump. This is an indicator. You'll find your water pump, foam system, CAFs, your pump and roll, and also the open TTP valve or close. You'll also find the generator PTO must be engaged for CAFs to operate caution warning label. Located on the right side, right knee area, this would be your pump pressure, digital readout, in addition with tank vision for your water tank and also for your Class A foam A. Moving up from that location just onto the right-hand side, you'll find your main mirror and convex mirror controls. Moving just above that location, you'll find the yellow pull to apply your system parking brakes and push to release. And to the right of that, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, which you pump in neutral. Let's move up. Moving to the engine brake, this is an on-off switch. Moving to the right, an engine brake high, medium, and low. Future switch, in red, your fuel primer, an additional future, and your mirror heat. Moving up from that, this is going to be your Pierce Command Center. This has a variety of different information available to you at the touch of your finger. I would recommend reading up on this device also. You'll also find your windshield wiper control. On the very far left-hand side, you'll find your ignition switch, start switch. Moving over to the right, the small switch here, which stands for EM, which stands for Emergency Master. Moving to the right, you'll find your on-off switch for your headlights, and all the way to the far right, you'll find your rocker switch, which controls your panel dim and brightness. All the way to the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle green indicator and also the switch for your high idle. We'll start at the dash cluster with your transmission temp. Moving up to the very top here, you'll find your DEF level. You're also going to find you have oil pressure. The next gauge up will be your water temperature. Moving to the center area, you'll find your tachometer. Further to the right, you'll find your speedometer. And as we move through the cluster of gauges on the right-hand side, let's first start at the very top with your voltage meter. Moving down from that, you're going to find that you have fuel. This is the main diesel. The other side was your DEF level. Also moving to the right, you'll find your front air pressure and also your rear air pressure. Also located in this cluster, you'll find at the top and also the bottom informational displays when illuminated. Generalized view here of the center section of your apparatus. We'll talk about this area. There's some caution and also labels here. Please read those labels. First, let's start down at the lower right-hand corner. This is a 12-volt access point barrel style. Moving up from that location, you'll find at the very top of the operator on the left, important, this is a placard regarding the height, length, gross vehicle weight rating, and at the very bottom, there is also the job number. Let's go ahead and move just over the operator's head. Start with the set of switches here. First, we have the emergency master, your opticom, roto ray, siren brake, tire chains, differential lock for the rear axle, differential transfer case, and also your generator for CAFs and PTO. Next over, you'll find your driver's side cab scene, passenger side cab scene, driver's side body, passenger side body, front flood, rear scene, rear ground scene, and also your air horn. To the right of that, you'll find the traffic advisor, which is low, off, and high, and also left, right, split, and flash. Moving further over, you'll find your siren control for your electronic siren and also PA control. And you'll also find throughout the vehicle some of these warning do not remove stickers, candy cane in style. These are indicating that there are spare wiring behind the panel. This is very important. This is a puck style light. It illuminates when you have a compartment door open or ajar and not to move the apparatus. Looking from the passenger seat to the rear, you can see you have some map book storage locations or resources. At the very top, we can see that we have some yellow latches here for your headsets. You also have at the very top the push on, push off red and white lights. Looking to the rear of the apparatus, there are two compartments here in the center and off to the side that are roll-up compartment doors. We'll talk about some of the components there. Just above the climate control, this is generator operating instructions. As we look over to the passenger side, we'll talk about some of those components to familiarize yourself with them. Let's start back in the rear compartment. Once again, every entry point has this warning label for seatbelt use. Down at this area on the right and left side at the hinged, this is an access pull handle to make it easier to get into the cab. On the back wall, you'll find an SCBA mount. Moving just inside, you have two rear-facing SCBA seats. Located down at the very bottom between the two rear-facing seats is this access door. This access door is for your oil and also for your transmission checks. Overhead of the rear seats, you'll find two compartments. Looking just forward of this, you'll find once again your resources and also fans located at the very top. Down at the very bottom, you're going to find your shore outlet. This is a 15 amp plug. Next to it, you'll find a brass with a protector. This is your 12 volt block for additional 12 volt accessories. Looking at the very back, you can see that there are two fixed shelves that are adjustable within the center compartment. They also have shore power outlets in addition with 12 volt access. Looking at the side of the vehicle, this is the passenger side. Once again, two adjustable shelves in that roll-up compartment door. Different view here on the angle. Let's go ahead and take a look at each of the doors here. In the front, you can see this small red light indicating the door is open. This is an indicator for visual appearances for vehicles or pedestrians on the side of the road for easy visualization. Also in the very front, you'll find your fill for your windshield wipers, general view looking above. In the very front, you'll find three 12 volt access points. Only pictured are two here. I've got another image later on. You'll find a center mounted LED, and also to the right, you have a battery charging station. Looking over at the very top of those, you have two barrel style and also one USB style. Those are 12 volt access points. You also have your air horn, siren brake, and mechanical siren. Looking as a general view here from the passenger side over to the driver's side, you can see your attachment points. Overhead, you'll find your warning label that not to remove for spare wiring. You also have passenger side cab scene, front flood, passenger side body scene, and also the load manager with future switches underneath. Here is an image of your logo. Congratulations, Chugiak Alaska, on your new apparatus. Hope this serves your community well. Congratulations on job number 30293. Once again, if you have any questions as to the content of this video or any of the components, please contact your Hughes Fire Sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.